Well, the good news is that Jane Vass from Age UK and Sarah Pennells, personal finance expert, are still with me in the studio to help us through this tonight. So bingo tax is going to be halved, Jane. That surely is going to be popular amongst people who follow you?
Well, perhaps some pensioners pay bingo, but it's a very big age group, so I'm sure lots of people have lots of different choices within that.
Sarah, a huge focus on saving. It seemed to be everywhere, didn't it, throughout the budget? Why is that, without asking of too simple a question? Is it because, quite frankly, in this country, we're not saving enough, we're not getting ourselves into good enough shape financially?
I think there are two reasons. I think that's part of it, definitely. But I think the other reason, and if you were cynical, you could say it's the main reason, is that the policy of quantitative easing, of basically printing more money, has really affected savers. And it's been going on now for about 5 years. And I think the government has no longer been able to ignore the protests of an increasing number of people. It's not just pensioners, it's people who are trying to save for a deposit or trying to do what the government says is the right thing, and finding that actually their money is losing value. And I get a lot of emails from people who are saying, what is the point of saving? Well, the government will now try and say, well, we are going to try and do things to make it at least worthwhile for some people.
And this is the point. And I'm sure, Jane, you're as interested in the next generation of pensioners as you are for pensioners who are here today. Do you think these measures will encourage us to save more so we do have a more comfortable old age? What do you think?
Absolutely. Our big hope is that it does revitalise pension saving.
Will it, do you think? That's your hope, but do you think it will work?
I think it'll definitely encourage it, but the work really starts now. We absolutely have to ensure that people who haven't got much actually have the assets later on in life, that they have the quality advice that they're really going to need, and that they have the products that can give them the certainty while they in their retirement.
OK. Now, Sarah, we'll be doing some number crunching for everyone across the country who's going to be affected by this budget. This is what our experts said to us. For a married couple with 2 children, one parent earning an average wage of around £27,000, our experts say the family will be £154 better off in 2014-15. It's not much, is it?
It isn't, when a lot of people really are struggling, and I know it's kind of an easy thing to say.
Cost of living. There's no money to save, is there?
That's right. And although, I mean, it's better than nothing, but I think for people who are finding that energy bills, food prices, and childcare, if that's the kind of age you are, those costs are really, really high. So for I think a lot of people, it won't be enough.
OK, let's get one more in. An unemployed single parent with 1 child who's receiving income support and child benefits worth just over £8,000. They will receive an extra £77 a year. And some people say this budget has ignored those at the lower end of incomes and not helping those who are most vulnerable. What would you say to that? Because £77 a year is not much, is it?
I certainly think that those people who are on a lower income do need a lot more help. And the Chancellor said today that it was the richest who were paying the most in terms of getting the country out of the debt. But actually, for people who are at the lower end of the income scale, they are the ones who really are struggling, and I think they would have wished for a lot more.
OK, Sarah Pennells and Jane Vass, thanks so much for your thoughts tonight.